Okay. First off, I want to say thank you guys so much because I know what it means to give up any of your precious time, this most finite resource, and the fact that you've agreed to join me here for what you don't even know yet, right? So thank you so much. It means the world. And so today, I've set this up as a 2-day course, and that was intentional. And the thought is that today we'll go through some content, and tomorrow will be a more interactive session where I want to hear from you because there's going to be a little bit of homework. So if you can join both days, awesome. If you can't, again, it's completely optional. And if you want to stay on camera, I love it. And so I say that because I want this to be for you. So do what makes you feel comfortable. There are no expectations. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to share, and I said this, was that we are going to record, right? So this is going to be hopefully played elsewhere. Let me just turn this off. People are probably can't figure out how to join. I knew that would happen. Unfortunately, my assistant isn't available today. So we'll just have to figure it out and listen to the recording. But I also don't have like anything prepared as far as a formal PowerPoint or presentation, but what I do have is some notes because I want to speak divinely today. So I have been guided. I want to share this information. And so you'll see me kind of making sure that I cover what I hope to cover, but I don't want it to sound so clinical. I want to just share what I'm inspired to share, and hopefully that it resonates with you, or you take what I always say, you take what you like and you get rid of the rest, right? So I would say everybody on this call knows me very, very well, maybe with the exception of Kristen. So maybe this introduction is more for you, Kristen, right? I have just a little bit about me. So I am a mother, a daughter, a sister, all that good stuff. I have a business background. I am a registered dietitian. Then I moved to, or in addition to, I was fortunate to author a couple of books, and now I'm becoming a coach. And this is really where, I feel like I found my spot, right? I feel like I'm like, yes, this is what I meant to do. And so today, tomorrow, my goal is to give back what I have learned. So I have spent I did the math, thousands of hours learning and studying, hundreds of books, many, many mentors, and let's see, friends along the way that are on this call, in this journey. So I really wanted to kind of summarize what I've learned and hopefully inspire others. And what I'll say about this work, and I know many of you are in this work with me, is that, sorry, sister, I can't, not real sister, but the other one, I can't give her the link right now. But what I would say is, this isn't sexy work. Like, I'm not going to promise you anything, or I'm not going to say this is going to happen, but this is the most important work you will ever do, right? Like those that are in it, this is the work that is life-changing. And to me, this is the foundation for everything. So I know Kristen on this call, she is going to start the same 20 program with me very soon. But I'm so thankful that you're on this, because from this point on, like it shows how my awareness has changed from even when I wrote the book to now. I will not teach on weight loss until we've talked about this, which is the foundation, which is the mindset, which is the self-love. None of that matters. I guarantee you I can get you down 20, 30, 40, whatever your weight loss goal is. But none of that matters if you don't, you'll end up right back where you were if we don't do this foundational work, right? So as a result of this journey, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, this is where we're headed. And so I'm so thankful that we can do this together. The other thing is that I wanted to talk about what my goal is for us over the next couple of days, and that is to get you to maybe think differently or shake up your current beliefs, right? And I'll tell you this, I'm not going to teach you anything you don't know. I'm only going to shine a spotlight on it, right? I can't teach you something you don't know, but what I'm going to do is bring awareness to it. And I want you guys to be thinking about it and really pay attention. And when we talk about specifically what today's focus is on, it's okay, and what else could I do? So when I'm talking about something, you might think, duh, like that's so simple. But I challenge you to ask yourself, but could you know it deeper? Could you know it more, right? Again, it's not anything new or earth-shattering. And like I said, it's not super sexy, but this work will change your life, okay? And I'll share how it will change your life. And then for me, I am so passionate about this, and my goal in life used to be to, what can I do to, I guess, like better myself or make myself happy, right? But ultimately now my goal is liberation and purification, and so that I can live the happiest life. So here's what I mean by that. I have what I consider a pretty good thing going, right? I have, great family, great children, great life, great job. But I always kind of felt this nagging of like, why am I not then super, super happy? Like, why am I not doing cartwheels every single day when the outside looks pretty darn good? And I'm a happy person, but it just felt like there's got to be more. So in doing this work for the last 3 years, this is the first time over the last 3 years that I have decided to go inside and figure out what I can do in the long term to change myself, as opposed to looking to the outside. I don't need another degree. I don't need another certification. I don't need another, insert this, right? A new handbag, a new, whatever it is. I need to figure out what's going on with me so that I can ultimately share it and live the best life that I can, no matter what the circumstances say, right? Isn't that what we all want? Ultimately, we're all wanting happiness, but we're looking at it from, going to the outside to try to find it and bring it in. Okay. So in sharing with you guys, what it allows me to do is then practice what I preach, right? And challenge myself to continue to grow. So here's an example of this. I have, been wanting to expand or start my business, I'll say, but I really had some limiting beliefs. And all of a sudden I was like, listen, I can't coach and be this person in the background that's like fearful. So I texted, it was Michelle and Kimmy on this call. And I said, I'm doing like a mastermind on 11/11, and we're doing this thing. And if I am going to help inspire people to overcome fears or whatever it is, I have to be willing to do it too. I have to be willing to get uncomfortable. So I'm sharing with you all that this journey is so, it's a very personal journey. It might not be that you want to start a coaching business, but whatever it is, and we'll get to that part, that it is for you. I hope that we can do it together, right? You can see me and say, oh gosh, she doesn't have it all together, but she's working towards it. That's my goal, right? We're all in this together. So let me just see here what I had written down. The other thing that I heard, and I love this, is we are all seeking our truth, not the truth. And what I mean by that is, and I see Michelle shaking her head, because I think we're all searching like, what is the real truth? But it's really what resonates with you. And in this journey for me, I have found that, oh my gosh, like just knowing that what works for me or what I'm seeking might be very different from what Catherine's seeking, or very different from what, Kristen's seeking, or Kimmy, et cetera. It's so personal. And that's what matters. Like, you're never going to find the truth, find your truth. And then when I say when it resonates with you, my friends know that when I tell them, like they'll tell me something, I say, oh, I just got the chills. They're like, okay, that means something, right? That's how I know something resonates with me. I get the chills, I cry, happy tears all the time, right? If something resonates deeply, I feel it. So I encourage you, as we go through this, start to find out like, what is your truth, not the truth, right? Very personal, very different. So that's a little bit of the foundation. Again, I just want to say, you might have heard this, you might have done. Well, let me ask you, put into chat or emoticon, react, who has done some work on themselves, like self-help, spiritual? Yeah. I will be shocked if anybody in here hasn't, right? Because I feel like, yep, for decades, yes, self-care, I love it. Because I didn't come and invite it. There's a reason. Like, you wouldn't have shown up if it at least did. You're either an excellent friend, which you all are, or something something resonated with you enough to say, okay, I want to learn more about what she means about acing that mindset, right? So, also therapy. Yes, yes. So you're constantly, and I bet, Catherine, what you hear here in this place is going to be repetitive. The other thing, and I love that you said that, because we need to hear things many, many times. So if you're someone that's like, heard that, next, in my practice over the last 3 years, I will read, reread, reread, re-listen, I mean, 10s, 20, 30 times. And that to me has been a game changer. So if you're somebody that like I heard it, I don't need to listen to it again. I challenge you to re-listen to things because when you heard it the first time, your awareness will change. Even listening to it the next time, you'll hear something different. You'll hear something different, right? So make sure that, as you're going through this, if something resonates with you, if I, say something, do a little research on it. Listen again, find something else on that topic and see what happens. Okay, so through all of this work that I've been doing and really trying to figure out like what does it mean to be happy no matter what, or how can I be even happier? Does that make sense to you guys when I say that? Like we're all relatively happy people, but does anybody resonate with the could I be happier? Am I alone? Yeah. Okay, good. Right. And it
Do you
feels
want us to put those answers in the chat, or do you want us to like say the answers?
I love it. I can read the chat. I can read your face. It's perfect. Yeah, I think
Okay.
yeah, whatever. And if there's something, if you're inspired to say something, please come off mute. But I say this because sometimes we think we're alone, right? Like we think we're alone in this journey, or what happens too is people think, well, her life looks fine. She's great. She's happy. She has a partner. She has children. She's insert whatever it is that you think equals happiness, right? She's fine. But we're all dealing with the same thing. It's just on a different, it's just on our own personal level. So through these, like I said, thousands of hours of work, I have developed what I consider a powerful mindset framework. Okay. And in listening to everybody through the years, there have been these common themes that come through, and I'm always like, okay, and different things resonate with me at different times. And I've had, mastermind calls with some of the ladies on this call. And when I boil it all down, I want to share with you this framework that I've developed, and hopefully we can focus in on it and make some, big impacts in our lives. So that is called the ACE model, which is why I named this ACE Your Mindset. Okay. So A is for awareness, C is for clarity, and E is for embodiment. So Amanda Boyce, will you type that into chat for me? Awareness, clarity, and embodiment. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on awareness. And then next month, my goal is to continue to offer free mastermind sessions to serve and continue to elevate, consciousness. So next month, we'll focus on the clarity piece of it. And then the last month, we'll focus on embodiment. Okay, so it's awareness, clarity, and embodiment. So when you think about awareness, that's a term that we've all heard, right? Are you aware? Yes. Here's what I'll tell you. I thought if you asked me, I don't know, 5 years ago, are you aware, Michelle? Absolutely, I'm aware, right? Michelle Vickerman and I were, friends at that time, as was Dassel, but I've just seen Michelle's face. I would say, am I aware? And she might say yes, or she might, whatever, just, play along with me. But I would have thought I was aware. You guys, I'm telling you, it is not until I started doing this work that I realized I am sleepwalking. I was sleepwalking through life. And what I mean by that is, imagine, have you guys ever driven a car and gone from point A to point B and wondered, how did I even get there? Right? Like, or read a book. You just read like 10 pages and you don't remember a thing and you have to go back and reread them, right? That is what I was doing with my life. And I know, that gives me chills. Talk about like, it's resonating with me. So it was so much so that, I'm so thankful that life worked out as good as it did because I was really I was manifesting. I was an unaware manifester, right? Because we all manifest every single day, but we're unconscious of it for the most part, right? Our words create, and we're all doing that. But it wasn't until I started going, oh my gosh, I get to control. I get to have some say in this, that it made all of the difference. So just high level of the model. So A is for awareness, awareness of how we think, our thoughts, what's really going on in our life. Clarity is if you could do, be, or have anything, what do you want your life to look like? Have a clear, like, what is your pole star? What is your North Star? Where are you headed? What is your vision, right? You have to be clear on that. And then, and if you're asking, how do I get clear? We're going to talk about that next month, right? Because some of us have a very clear, like, I know where I'm headed and don't try to stop me. And other people are like, I don't even know what I would really want to do if I could do anything, right? And then the embodiment. And this is something that hit me recently. So I've been into law of attraction manifestation now for a couple of years. And it was like, oh, this last piece is a game changer. So embodiment means, who do I need to be to have that, to manifest what I want into my reality, right? So what does my identity need to look like to manifest that vision, that clarity that I have? Okay. That is the part that I was not doing. I was doing the positive affirmations. I was doing, everything I thought I should be doing, but I wasn't acting as the person that is the end result of my new identity, right? So again, we're going to get more into that, but today I really want to focus on clarity. Again, I say this, you'll hear me repeat, and that's because if it's something important, I want you to hear it and I want you to remember it. Pre-COVID, you guys, they used to say, about 7 times you needed to hear something before you would remember it. Now it's like 30 to 40 times. So if you hear me repeat something, I won't hopefully repeat it 30 to 40 times, but there's a reason. There's so many distractions, things are going on. We have to hear things over and over. So, okay, so I want to back up for a second. Let's talk about manifest. You've heard me say that word a couple times. What do I mean by manifest? So manifest means to make visible, to bring into your reality, okay? So show of hands if you read the popular book back in the day, The Secret, Law of Attraction. I remember where Mandy and I were when I was reading it. Okay, so everybody except for maybe Catherine. Did you? Yeah, okay. And Dassel has. Okay. Well, read it. It's fun. It's a fun read. But I would say the part that they don't talk about in there is the embodiment, and we can work through that part. But so manifest is to bring into your reality. We are all manifesting every single day. We all have stuff come up every single day, but what we're doing is not consciously manifesting. So what I want to coach on is to become a conscious creator. Our thoughts create things. Our words matter. So I want you to then I want you to be aware of what's happening in your life, your reactions. Then I want you to have a clear vision of what you want. And then I want you to get it. I want you to embody who you need to be. And I want you to show up in that end version of yourself. So I'm just thinking about the same 20 weight loss, right? So first off, we need to be aware of what we're actually telling ourselves about our body, our weight, our self-image. Then we need to be very clear on what I want. What is it that I want? Is it that I want to be a certain weight? Is it that I want to have a certain blood work, right? Do I want to fit into a certain, what is it? Do I want to be able to do yoga? Do I want to be active, be able to run around with my children? Whatever it is, we have to be clear on that. And then lastly, embodiment. Who do I need to be? How do I need to act if my goal is what I just listed out, right? Let's say that I want to be able to keep up with my children and lose 10 pounds, then how does Michelle in that new image, how does she need to show up? And that's the part that we're going to work through, right? So it's not just saying, hey, I want to lose. So this is where the secret is, Catherine. They say, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Be positive and think I'm going to lose 20 pounds. But no, you actually have to do some action. Law of attraction has the word action in it. You have to make some steps towards it. Okay. So I am really passionate now about my friends hear me say, I am a powerful manifester. I manifest things. I make things happen. And I'm excited. I think we have some big manifestations happening that I'll share next time if I'm able. And, I want this for all of you. And I'm just trying to consolidate it down to make it as simple as possible. But ultimately, what I would say is I want you to manifest because it's fun. And that's what we do anyway. And it's easy and it's effortless, not because you need it, not because if you don't have what you're trying to manifest, you won't be happy, because that won't work. That's what I had been doing my whole life. And now I'm like, so the difference is, so I've done this work. Now I'll tell you guys, I cried tears of joy, like just weekly, if not daily, just overwhelming tears of joy. And it's like, oh, a quick little story. So my son had a soccer match and they won the tournament. And after the tournament, he ran over to me and gave me a hug. And he just started crying. And I said, are those happy tears? And he said, yes. And it was just full of big emotion, right? So his little friends came over and were like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, he's happy." And I said, "Have you guys ever cried happy tears?" And they all looked at me like I have, 8 heads. And they said, "No." Well, one kid, he's so sweet, goes, "Well, maybe one time." And I said, "Well, in my family, we cry happy tears. Like we get really excited about things, and he's in my family, and so he's crying happy tears." And they're like, "Okay," and ran off. But that's what it is. Like it's just different now. I mean, I just think, and let me be clear, I'm no different than each of you, right? I have a full-time job. I have a team that I manage. I have a family. I have young children. I have a husband. I have I have health challenges just like the rest of us. So it's not like I have, I don't have any other challenges, but it's just that I find that in doing this work, none of it's a big deal anymore. None of it matters. Like it's very interesting. I think, my gosh, there's just no worries, or that I'm not allowing it to worry me, right? Because it's clearly with everything I just mentioned, I'm just like you guys. Am I at my dream weight? No way. But I'm like, who cares? Starting to really love myself, and this is who I am. And when the time comes, it's like it doesn't even matter anymore. So, not that Kristen will get you to wherever you want to be. I promise you that. But it's just such a, like, this is the awareness in 1 year's time that I'm like, you know what? This is the foundation. And then great, we'll get you to where you want because it's just a bonus. It's a bonus. Okay. Okay. So any questions? I've talked now for quite a bit. Before I move on to our homework, do we have any questions, comments, thoughts? It didn't make me win the lottery. Yes, yes. That's exactly what the law of attraction was. I love it. Give me a reaction. Is this well, not new information. Is this hitting anyone? Is this resonating with anyone? And don't do it for me. I don't. That's what says yes. Okay.
I'm just going to say out loud because
Yeah.
I hate to present and never have someone pipe in. And the reactions are great, but I'm pretty slow on that. But to me, this completely resonates. And I'm with most of you that I've been doing this type of work for decades or so. And I just feel like what you've described being so simple is the key. So I'm just excited to dive into it.
Thank you. I love it. Okay, let me look. Let me just do a quick little. I wrote my notes. It's thinking I should probably, just have a couple things jotted down in the lightest pencil I could find. I can't even read them, so I don't know why I'm even looking at the piece of paper because I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I covered it. So let's talk about awareness. Here's what I want you guys to think about. Your reactions to life reveal your assumptions. Okay, write this down. Your reactions to life reveal your assumptions. This is big, very, very big. Your reactions to life reveal your assumptions. Who's heard this before? You have, Catherine? Yeah. Okay. I won't ask you what it means, but what I'll tell you is that we are going through our entire life reacting. And prior to starting this work, I was unaware of my reactions. Okay. What I mean by reactions to life is anytime you think a thought, feel a feeling, express, that is a reaction to life. Okay. So you're going to have a little bit of homework, but let's talk about what I mean by that first. So you're driving down the road and the car in front of you is driving slow, it's driving fast, doesn't put on its blinker when you want it to, and you have some sort of thought, right or wrong? That is a reaction to life. You go to the grocery store, in the bill, they put up the total and you see the number and you have a reaction. Woo, right? I don't know what your reaction is. This is the other thing I'll tell you is this is deeply personal work. I can tell you what my reactions are and what they mean because I've done the work, and that's going to be your homework. But by me saying, okay, a car is driving slow and I get irritated, Catherine's reaction might be, oh my gosh, I love it because I get to like listen to my music a little bit longer, right? So one person's reaction is not the same as another person's. And the next part of that is, how am I reacting? And then you have to do a little bit of work like journaling to figure out, what does that reaction mean? Okay. So I'm thinking of examples. I'll share some smaller ones with you. So somebody says, how are you? I used to always say great, because that's typically how I am, but then I would always say something negative, like just to kind of make it equal, like, oh, but the weather, the rain, right? Or, oh, but I'm tired. I would always wake up in the morning with thinking, how soon could I get back into bed? Like, I don't know if any of you do that, right? But I used to always think about, and so my reaction, right, was, okay, I'm ready to get back into bed. I'm not that excited about the day. So what is my assumption? So this is the work that you guys have to do. So I reacted in a way of like, oh, I don't want to wake up. I want to stay in bed. So my assumption, right, is, and again, I'd have to do a little bit of work, but is it that I don't have the energy, that what the day ahead of me isn't that exciting? I'm not valuable enough. Does it even matter if I show up to work, right? Let me give you some other ones of mine. So weather and traffic, those are perfect ones. And you guys, what I recommend is that you start with the small ones, because you're going to have reactions to really big ones, right? Maybe exes, maybe in-laws, right? Maybe a boss that you don't like, a coworker. Things are going to irritate you, but let's start with some of the smaller ones initially. So think about weather and traffic. Who has ever complained about weather and traffic? Right? Every single one of us. And catch yourself. Pay attention now. How often do you talk about the weather and what it's doing? Do we have any control over that? No, but do we complain about it? Oh, it's raining. My hair's going to get frizzy. My glasses are going to fog up. I have to drive. We were going to go outside today. Weather and traffic, perfect. And then, so your reaction, you're paying attention to your reactions. So do you get angry? Do you get mad? Do you get sad? Do you get happy? Right? It's not just bad reactions. It's like all of, so what's happening? What is your response? And then this is where you need to self-reflect and say, okay, and what might that mean? So if I'm thinking about weather and traffic, I probably have, somehow I think that I'm important, or I have control issues, because I think that I get to control how the weather is or how the traffic is, right? So I am just telling you some of mine. This again is deeply personal. You guys have to figure out what it is for you. Okay. I can, it might be, some of them might be similar, but they might not. The other one is appearance. I notice when I'm sharing this with you guys, I notice that if I see somebody, I'll have an opinion about their appearance. And my reaction is to their appearance. And depending on what their appearance is, then I have an assumption. And my assumption is, oh, their life is good. Or, oh, they must have a hard life. Or they have no worries in the world. Looks like she's all put together, has a nice car, right? These are all reactions that we have all day, every day. Are you guys like seeing how frequently we react to things? You're having a reaction to me right now, I guarantee. Pay attention to that reaction. Michelle, I know this. Or she's amazing, right? Who knows? But you're having a reaction to me right now based on what I'm saying. And so then you think about your assumption. I do this. I'm in a group where I pay to have, a mentor. And I have realized that I only show up on one of the days where I think that the head lady's going to be there. The other days where her like support team is, I don't think they're that valuable. So I don't show up on camera. I don't really show up. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my assumption, right? That only she can impact me in a way that I want to be impacted. So this is awareness, you guys. And I'm telling you, we will get, when you start to pay attention, hundreds of opportunities in an hour to uncover your, reactions/assumptions. Okay. So some bigger ones for me. I think about my children. My children start to argue. They don't behave. They don't do what I want. And I get really frustrated. And so that my reaction, the situation is my children. Then my reaction is, I get frustrated. And then my assumption, again, I have to do some work. It doesn't just come out. My assumption is, in self-reflection is, oh, I expect them to like respect me. They should just respect me. I'm their parent, but they don't, right? So I now have this assumption that children should respect. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's my assumption. And so we're not going to do anything right now. Tonight's homework is just awareness. Okay. It is just awareness. It is not, let me tell you this, it is not well, let me finish this. Couple other awarenesses. Other people's success. Here's a big one. If I saw somebody else have success in maybe the world that I wanted to, and I don't even have to know the person, right? It's just, coach so-and-so, and they, are new and their business is incredible. I would feel jealousy. And so my reaction is like jealousy. And then in doing the reflection, it's like, oh, because I have a scarcity mindset. I think that there's only a certain amount of people to go around, and this person is taking them, so which means I'll never be successful, right? But I had to reflect on that. It didn't just, most people where they stop is I see somebody successful and I'm jealous, and that's the end of the story, right? Now I'm asking you guys to go one step further and figure out what is your assumption in that, because until we uncover our assumptions, we can't change them. What we are unaware of, we cannot change, right? That is nothing new to any of us. If we are not aware of it, we cannot change it. I guarantee you, in doing this activity, just between now and tomorrow, if you set a timer on your phone every hour for it to go off, and you write down one reaction an hour, that's, let's just say 12 at least an hour that you can come up with. But if you were really to think about it more often, I mean, you could have hundreds on your page. And getting ready for this, I had 10, right? And this is why I want to do this work, because it keeps me on it. It's like so powerful. And they don't get, I don't want to say it doesn't get easier, but sometimes when you peel back the layers, and we know this from doing the work, like you peel back the layers and you think, oh, it's not that bad. And so you start to peel and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do the work anymore because it's getting harder, it's getting worse, right? It's getting uncomfortable. The wound is exposed, but this is when we've got to keep going. So, and then one last one that I wrote down, so I thought this one was really important for this too, was, how are things going with like your book? I found that my reaction, right, was I'd either avoid or make up some fluff because I had a fear of judgment from others, or self-judgment, because I haven't achieved what I wanted to by this point, right? So again, taking that time to say, okay, how am I reacting? And then what does that reaction reveal? It reveals that, I have a fear of being judged, or I don't think I'm good enough, or I haven't done enough, right? So what I want you guys to do between now and tomorrow is I want you to, and this is very important, without judgment, without shame, without blame, just be aware. There is and the other thing is no action involved once you become aware, right? Meaning I don't want you to change anything. I just want you to become aware. I want you to write it down. So you have a reaction. Okay, I just reacted to that. I want you to write down what the situation was. What was your reaction, right? Were you happy? I really talked about kind of some heavy ones, but there are times where you'll get super, super happy. That's a reaction as well. So I want you to, what was the situation? How did I react? And then I want you to take a moment and really think about it. This is where journaling comes in. What is my assumption? And we're going to talk about some of these tomorrow. So if you have the time or want to come on and dig deeper, and especially if you have some where you're like, hey, this has come up and I can't quite figure out my assumption, like we could work through, some together if anybody is wanting to or feels vulnerable enough to share. So I would say again, no judgment, no blame, no shame. You are just going to go through your day and you are going to pay attention to when you react. You can use the word triggered if you want, because sometimes that's what it feels like, but sometimes the reactions are so benign, so small, you don't even notice them. They're just quick thought in your head. Why do I even have to have that thought, right? It could be a nothing. And that's where I'm saying, things will start to, it gets worse before it gets better, right? That's just how it happens, but then it will get better. The other thing I will say is, so pay attention to, as you write things down, are there themes? So is it like, oh, work triggers me big time, or I'm totally fine at work, but when I get home, I am triggered, right? Or am I triggered around myself, or is there somebody else? I don't know what this is. Again, all I can say is this is deeply, deeply personal. And if you guys are willing to take the time to, number one, become aware of your reactions, and then number two, focus in on what they might mean for you, then tomorrow we'll talk this through, and I'll also give you some techniques. Now, again, the technique's not super sexy, but that's what this work is. It's like those that are in it, we know it. This is like this is where the rubber meets the road. Is that how that saying goes? And this is where like life begins. And I'm telling you, like it is just so incredible. So tomorrow there'll be some techniques that when you do see this happening, then we can, reframe and work through some of those. But ultimately, just being aware is the foundation of it all. Because if you are not aware, then we can't move on to the next step of what do you actually want, because it won't matter. If you've heard that saying, like people are fighting for their limitations, we just have to be aware of what those are. And then we can decide what we want our life to be like. And then who do we need to be? And then watch it unfold, right? I'm telling you guys, I have the chills, which means that it is the truth. And I am so excited. I believe in each and every one of you. So tell me, how are we feeling about the homework? Questions, comments?
I love these exercises when you start to become aware. Now, I'm a life coach too, so I do this stuff all the time, and it actually is really fun, and you can bring a curiosity to it. Like you say, don't have judgment or shame or anything like that, but just have a curiosity about, I'm so curious, why did I react that way to, whatever the circumstance is? This is really a fun exercise.
So good. Kristen and Amanda, Dassel and Catherine, have you guys done, because I know Michelle have you guys done any work like this before? Have you done an activity like this? Exercise activity.
Not for me, not specifically, so to speak, but through counseling, I definitely have done, internal work, and it's a long process, still going, but yes.
So through my work, we, as an educator, we really focus on self-improvement, self-care, and we do every Wednesday a 10-minute drop-in meditation, and then go on with our district behavior and wellness coach to do a mindful activity. And this year we're working on self, family, community, and just connection is our word. And so if I don't put it on my calendar, I don't do it. Everything else takes over in my life. And so this is a Wednesday meeting every Wednesday at 8:00. And I've made that in my intention to do it, just to continue.
Love it. You're right. If we don't prioritize it, it doesn't happen. Yep. Let's see the chat here. So we did it work along with therapy. I love it. It was part of our quality training. Awesome. So Catherine, you'll be ready to go, but start it over, right? Again, it's doing the activity over and over and over. And it's like, oh, okay, I might have changed, right? The things that I used to react to, I no longer do. And now I have different reactions. And then Dastos is not quite like this for me yet. Okay, awesome. Okay, you guys, I won't keep you any longer. If you have any questions, pop them into chat before you log off, and then I can answer them tomorrow. So if you have the time and can join, please do so. Do the homework and then come back tomorrow and we can talk through some of your ahas. I'd love to learn from you. So thank you for the time. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.